Okay, great. So welcome all of you for the event of today. There's a webinar on the consumer behavior or the changing consumer behavior during the COVID-19 era in the FMCG industry. We are having today one of our keynote speaker, Mr. Sushobhan Sarkar. He is the National Key Account Manager of Hell Energy, India business. He is having 11 years of experience in FMCG and worked in companies like PepsiCo, Godrej Consumer Products, Parle, Lotte India, etc. He is also an musicpreneur and associated with an USA-based music production company as a consultant for sales and marketing. And he is passionate about meeting with budding MBA graduates like you. So it is a wonderful opportunity to have Mr. Sarkar with us today. It is a great opportunity for all of you to listen to him about the FMCG industry's performance during this COVID-19 era and changes in the consumer behavior, how the consumer behavior is changing during this COVID-19 era, specifically towards the FMCG products. So that is a great opportunity, and if you have any questions, definitely you can ask during the question and answer session. So I would like to invite Mr. Sarkar to start his program. It's the stage is all yours, so you can start.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for such a warm introduction, and definitely during this COVID and during this pandemic time, no one is doing. No one can say that I'm doing very good, or the industry is also suffering a bit. But the best part is about FMCG. The best part is the industry has revived a lot, and I will show in my few data. I would love to show that how the industry is performing right now at this point of time, and what are the changes we have observed very closely in terms of consumer behavior, because there's a huge change in terms of expectations, in terms of the purchase pattern, in terms of everything that I would like to show in my deck what I have meant. So let me start. Let me share the screen. And I would like to say a big hello to all the students who have joined. Um, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
It is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So, as the topic goes, it's consumer behavior trends in FMCG in COVID-19 era. The era started from March last year, March 2020. Mostly the era started. The era is still going. We are still into the COVID-19. We have embraced the second wave, and we have embraced, means I'm talking about the industry have embraced the second wave, and trying to outperform through the second wave. We are expecting the third wave, though we don't want any more waves to come. But the sad part is already third wave here in Mumbai. The another variant has already in the market, and we are once again facing difficulty in terms of the FMCG market, the modern trade stores, the general trade stores. All the stores are getting closed by 3 p.m. And for a very short duration of time, it's getting opened. I was in Kolkata for last 2 months, so there also last month actually there was a lockdown in last month. So it's like it's very uncertain that how much time the market will remain open, and if the market will remain open, then only people can go and visit. Otherwise, there are some other trends as well which has kept us alive, which has kept the industry alive. So I would like to show that. So first, let me give you a small trivia about the industry, the FMCG industry. This is mostly pre-COVID era. By pre-COVID era, I means before March 2020. The industry, it is still now, it is the fourth largest sector in Indian economy. This point is valid in COVID era as well. We had a good growth of double digits, above 10% growth in last 10 years, but it was till 2018. Then there was inflation in 2019. There were certain other issues as well, and after that, finally, we are into the COVID-19. Hence, there is a ups and downs in terms of growth in FMCG. Uh, the industry is estimated to be it's a 3.5 crore per annum industry. It is estimated to be such big. Uh, it is one of the largest employers in India. This industry, approximately 1.3 crore people work in FMCG industry in India. There may be some ups and downs as well, but this is approximately the data as per Nielsen. uh, and the highest number of stores any industry if have, it is the FMCG. It's around 1 crore stores, more than 1 CR stores actually, which is highest in the world. And the another thing is about the new launches, about the innovation. This industry always, stand by an example. This industry always lead by an example. Its average every year, the new launch figure is 10,000. 10,000 new products, 10,000 new categories, 10,000 everything combined, 10,000 new products we get average every year. So this is a small trivia about the industry, basically in the pre-COVID era. Now I would like to show you a scoreboard of FMCG industry for the COVID era. So as I mentioned that in March 2020, we entered the pandemic, this COVID-19 era or the COVID-19 situation. And so, starting in March, April, May, that quarter was really worst. It has a degrowth of -17%. Uh, Overall FMCG, I'm talking about food, non-food, everything. Overall FMCG as an industry. Then from June, the revival started. From June, July, and August, that quarter, the industry went into positive. It is around a 4.5% of growth in that quarter. And the last quarter of 2020, which is October, November, and December, it ended with a 7.3% of growth. But the phenomenal part is in this year, the first quarter, the Jan-Feb March quarter, it is a record growth which FMCG has seen. It's 9.4%, and in this quarter, means in April, May, June, we are expecting around 10.5 to 11% of growth in FMCG, which will be, the figures will be out by end of July actually. So we are expecting a double-digit growth by end of this quarter. Now, the main growth factors, there are two main growth factors what we have seen and what SE Nielsen is also telling. It's about the consumption-led growth. Consumption, here comes the role of consumer behavior, because the consumption pattern has changed, the consumption, the buying behavior has changed, and this has led a good amount of growth. Also, there is a value-led growth as well, because in few products there is a price rise, there is a price hike, there are price hike in raw materials as well. There is a major labor issue, which is a different topic altogether. But still, I would like to say that supply chain was a very big issue during this pandemic. Uh, this year it is more sorted out, but last year it was a huge challenge. The migrant laborers, the few factories were stopped for maybe 1 or 2 months. They were not performing. There's a shortage of stocks. There is a production issue. So all this led to a price hike in the market. The demand was very high, and the supply was typically very low. So these all created a situation where few companies, few brands have increase the prices, and we'll see in the later half of my presentation that the purchase pattern has also forced many companies, to introduce certain pack sizes, and definitely the with a increased pricing for that. The good part is rural market is doing really good. Rural market from last year, last 2 quarters, rural market were in double digits, and this year also it's a double digit, and it's huge. It's 14.6% growth. It's a contribution from rural market. And the urban market, means the metro cities, last 2 quarters, uh, they were not in positive, they were in negative. But this quarter, Jan, Feb, March, they have registered a positive growth, all the metro markets. And the majorly this 9.4% growth which has come to the FMCG industry has been contributed by the rural market mostly, and in urban market mostly by modern trade and e-commerce. So I will come to the latter half. So this is about a scoreboard which I thought that you guys should know that how in what shape exactly the industry is standing right now, and uh, uh, last year also what are the things that industry has faced and industry has suffered. So this is something in a very summarized way I have tried to show you this. Now next is the categories who have majorly contributed to the growth of the FMCG industry. As I mentioned, that it's a huge growth in Jan Feb March quarter. So mostly three categories have contributed the most, which is staples, which is indulgence, and essential non-foods. So these three categories have contributed a lot in this growth of FMCG industry. Also, we have seen a growth in certain categories like biscuits, like coffee, and also like cheese and ketchup also, because of the increased home consumption. And as I mentioned, that people were busy in buying these biscuits, coffee, and all. So they were like since all the people were in a quarantine situation at home, so the buying pattern, the buying quantity also increased. Most number of people were at home only. So the large packs, the bulk packs have got a huge amount of sale. I will come in the later half about that. So these are mostly the categories who have contributed for the growth of FMCG. Next is I would like to mention that the consumer behavior. How was the consumer behavior, or what all are the factors on which consumer behavior were dependent, or companies, brands or companies used to follow or track the consumer behavior in the pre-COVID era, means when COVID was not there in the market. Now there is it's a basically a survey report from where I have tried to collect the points. And also in my company, also in my previous company also, there are a few things which company has adopted. So I will come to that. So firstly, most of the consumers have a debate that whether a brand can solve society problem or not, though in the media campaigning or in the digital ads, the companies used to show that they are contributing to society and all. So this is a point where consumers um, would see consumer previously consumer would relate that whether this is contributing to the society or not, and after that they used to take their buying decision. So there are many brands like that for which consumers used to take their buying decision based on this point. Second is there was a demand of small and trial packs, like when a new product or maybe old product also, when something is required, so people used to buy a 50 grams or maybe 15 grams or 100 grams pack size. This was so mostly the GT market used to play a very important role in that situation or in that phase, you can say. Uh, Next is 51% of Indian consumers, they supports consumer promotion. Like in whatever kirana shops in or in whatever trade we used to go, we used to ask for some discounts. We used to ask for some offers, whether there are some sales promotion, whether there are some consumer driven activities going on or not. So consumers were very price sensitive, you can say, at that point of time. So in the pre-COVID era, so they were more focused on what kind of promotions or what kind of discounts the brands or companies are running. There are many Indian consumers who were heavily driven by endorsements, like which like if I like a certain celebrity and I am a diehard fan of that celebrity, so whatever brand that celebrity is endorsing, so I will just close my eyes and I will start using that brand. Whether it's a fairness cream, whether it's a cold beverage, whether it's a hot beverage, whether it's a Gillette shaving cream, whatever. So if I like someone who is my role model, whom I love the most in celebrities, if he or she is doing the endorsement, definitely my purchase behavior or my purchase pattern will be driven by that. So there are many consumers whose purchase behavior were driven by this. Next is the print ads or the newspaper ads, which played a major role. Like if you have all seen that during big days in Big Bazaar or during some kind of sale or something in Diwali sale and all, there are huge one, two, two-page newspaper ads, and people are heavily driven by that. And it is also brand specific as well. Like any brand who is introducing a new product or a new pack, they have given. I have seen that they have given a small ₹1 sachet free with the newspaper, and it is tagged with the newspaper. So this kind of activities used to play a huge role in pre-COVID era, where consumers were really driven by this kind of activities, and the brands were also focused, in doing this kind of activities to increase the sale and to pull more and more consumers towards their brands. And also another thing, as I mentioned, the activations. Consumers were heavily focused for the activation, the in-store consumer activities, like there were lucky draw, they were like scratch and win contest. This kind of things also used to play a huge role in the pre-COVID era, because people, like you have seen also brands doing activities, many activities like this, a scratch card thing, and like you win a 2 day, 3 day holiday in somewhere, or maybe you scratch and you get a couple movie ticket, or you scratch and you get a micro oven, or in a lucky draw you get a fridge or something like that. So this kind of activities many brands used to do in store mainly, and these were also a very successful activity. So all the things put together, uh, everything got a huge success. All these six major points, all these six major points got a huge success in terms of the incremental sale and in terms of pulling more and more consumers towards the brands. So many brands have used maybe one or two of this, or many brands have used maybe one part of this, but still they have seen a huge growth and a huge success in terms of consumer behavior. So this is mostly the pre-COVID thing. Now let's get into the COVID scenario, and the consumers. There's a dramatical change in terms of the purchase behavior of consumers. Now let me give you a Nielsen report. Majorly in the consumer behavior threshold, Nielsen has given measured these 4 points, though there were a few other points were mentioned as well, but these 4 points are more relevant, and these 4 points are really critical in terms of the changing in consumer behavior. Now this thing, the health minded buying, proactive health minded buying, this is something which is very important and critical during this COVID time. So as you can see, the sale of sanitizers, the sale of face masks, the sale of any health minded products, they have increased a lot, and people are also focused in health and wellness, and brands and companies are also focused, to get into this category and to introduce more and more products which are basically of healthy and health and wellness and safety as well. So this particular thing has created an immense change, immense shift, you can say, in terms of the industry contribution. And this thing, many companies have adopted also this thing. to get that incremental growth, and also to pull more and more consumers towards them. Second is the pantry preparation, like the stockpiling. We have seen last year. This was done mainly in last year. We have seen huge queues in outside the shops, outside the markets, where people are waiting in the queue, and when their turn will come, and they will buy things in bulk. Like if the consumption of maida or atta in their means house is around 5 kilos, they will go for a 10, 15 kilos pack, because they were thinking of piling the stocks and preparing their pantry load, so that worst to worst case, they can use that product, and they don't need to go outside and buy for another time. So the pantry preparation was something which is very much noticed last year, and this year also. This year, actually, what happened? Many brands have introduced pantry packs, basically focusing on the last year trend of how consumers have acted on that. So many brands have introduced large bulk packs, whether it's biscuits, whether it's atta, whether it's rice, and anything, any kind of food and any kind of staples. Next is the quarantine and restricted living preparation. So here comes the role of e-commerce, and here comes the role of modern trade, where people have a restricted living. People do not go outside. The shops have definite timings, and after that the shop will close. So people, mostly the decision making were made by online, and whatever brands were available, whatever the e-commerce facilitators were there. uh, it's really They have done an incredible job, basically. And there are many companies as well who have introduced a different section, since supply chain was a major issue. So there are many e-commerce players, many e-commerce brands who have introduced FMCG as a section altogether last year to make it successful. Like Swiggy, if you all, hope you all know Swiggy. Swiggy delivers foods. Zomato deliver foods, but along with food, Swiggy and Zomato, both they're delivering FMCG essentials. So if you go to Swiggy, you can order any kind of FMCG products right now. So this is something which has this COVID-19 has helped, and these players have played really a major role in terms of sorting out the entire thing, and in terms of helping, providing a solution, you can say, to ease out the supply chain difficulties. Also, like there are another example of Domino's pizza. Domino's used to always deliver pizza before, but Ashirvad ITC has tied up with Domino's. There's exclusive tied up. So you will get Ashirvad Atta 5 kilo, 10 kilo, 15 kilo, 20 kilo packs in Domino's. So in Domino's, if you order for any ITC products, they will deliver you that as well. So many brands have done exclusive tie up as well with all these chains, and with all these e-com players. So this has done a huge contribution in terms of the growth in FMCG from last year and this year as well. And the last thing is living a new normal. Uh, there's a new channel mix. As I mentioned, the supply chain. There's a new channel mix as well, and also there are many hygiene practices. So this is something which consumers every time means if you are a modern trade store, or if you are maybe a large format kirana store, and if you have not kept sanitizers outside your store, then maybe few consumers can think whether to get inside or not, because they will look at the hygiene practices. They will look at how healthy it will be to get into that store. They will definitely look whether the people working in that store, whether they are wearing masks, whether they are sanitizing their hands properly or not. So these are the things which consumers are looking and focusing right now a lot. So I'm quite sure that when you guys will also get into a store, and you guys will also go, you will also focus, and you should focus on this kind of things, because At the end of the day, it's all about staying healthy, and it's all about staying safe, and it's all about maintaining all the hygiene practices. So consumers are really focused on that, and the best part is brands and all the chains, they are also, they have adapted this practices a lot, and they are trying their level best to give the best solution in terms of the hygiene practices inside the store and also outside the store. Next is, this is very important. We in my company also, this is something which has got acclaimed for to study the consumer behavior. This is called the Eisenhower Decision Matrix, and this matrix is the new, we call it, all the companies call it as a new normal decision making matrix, where you can see that there are four quadrants, like not urgent, urgent, in row, and in column it is important and not important. So basically it's very simple. During this pandemic, during this COVID-19 era, consumers are only focused on important and urgent. So as you can see, it's do it now. So that is the quadrant, or that is the area where consumers are focusing at this point of time. There is, if it is important and not urgent, then consumers can defer that at this point of time. Uh, they can plan to do it later also. If it is not important and not urgent, then the decision will be just to drop it. Be not required right now. And if the thing is not important and urgent, then definitely they will look for some option to do it. But if it is important and urgent, then consumers will definitely act on it spontaneous. There will be a spontaneous act on the same, and they will do it just at that point of time. So this is something from a company point of view and from a brand point of view. This is something which is very important, and all the companies are focused on this very much. And the company also, developing their entire matrix based on this decision making matrix by the consumers. Next, the next thing is the consumer behavior in the COVID-19 era. So this is something which is very important, because in the COVID-19 the consumer behavior, as I mentioned, has changed. But there are few points which we as a company we have also tried to identify, and Nelson has also helped us a lot to identify the pattern, the changes in consumer behavior, and what exactly a consumer is trying to look at when when he or she is looking at a brand. So let me get all the points. Yeah. So the first is 91% of global consumers. This is not only in India. This is the study says that for the global consumers, they are willing to switch to brands which those brands which are supporting a cause. And this time, when a brand is supporting a cause, it is clearly visible. If you go to market, if you go to online also, if you go to any store or any shop or any e-com platform, you can see that consumers, brands are supporting a cause. So I will come to that. I will show you examples of this as well. The next part is the mission statements of many brands were based on consumer insights. Now, what happened previously, that some brand was also there, and right now, what happened? The mission statement of the brand, they they have developed. They have tried to identify the consumer insights, and they have, the positioning of that brand. They have tried to create that impact in consumer minds, and they have tried to make a good connect with the consumer. So I will show you that as well. So this is also something which COVID has helped all the brands to grow because of this. Third is brands which are focusing more on health and wellness, whether it is a new product or maybe it's in the marketing campaigns to attract and pull more and more consumers. So this has played a huge role basically, and a fair amount of growth has also come focusing on this segment of health and wellness. Now, as I mentioned, demand of bulk and large packs are more. So modern trade and e-commerce have played a major role during this COVID, and they are playing a major role as well right now. And 25% of Indian consumers are now driven by online consumer activations. Now, previously, as I mentioned, in pre-COVID, there was a consumer activation which were in store, like lucky draw, like uh, scratch and win, like this kind of things, selfie contest, this kind of things. Now it is like selfie contest is there, but it is like you are sitting at home, you are holding a Coke bottle, maybe a Coca-Cola bottle, you are drinking that, and you are taking a selfie, and you are participating in the contest in that. But previously, if you go to a Spencer store, there is a selfie zone. Spencer created a selfie zone for the same brand. It's for Coke only, and you have to stand in that selfie zone inside the store, and you have to click a selfie, and you have to submit to that email ID where it is you need to submit to participate in that contest. So the same contest is happening now digitally. Now it's online, and there is also happy hours, like in many online platforms there is a happy hour sale, which is definitely not related to any liquor or something. This happy hours is like a 1 hour or a 2 hour, maybe on a Wednesday, maybe on a Saturday. It varies from chain to chain, and it varies from brands to brands as well. Like, not for all brands this happens. This happens for maybe a few, two, 1 or 2 brands for one or 2 hour in a particular day of a week. So consumers are really excited for that, and we have seen the buying behavior in this happy hours and in through this activations have increased a lot for the brands. Now let me show you few examples. Like this one, this the example I have tried to show you is a brand supporting a social cause. If you have seen that Dettol last month, they have introduced a Dettol salutes to the protectors. So if you think that your friend or your brother or your someone of your family have done an incredible job in terms of saving people in pandemic, so you can just take his or her photograph and you can send it to them. Dettol will give you a pack with his photo endorsed on it, and also with the designation, what designation he is, and what kind of support he has given to the society in terms of COVID, during this COVID. So this is something which is incredible. It's a huge way of consumer connect, and many people have connected. Many consumers have connected to Dettol because of looking at this activity what they have done. Next, I would like to show you Wellspun. Wellspun, I think you all know what is Wellspun. It's a number one mattress brand basically, and they have also introduced right now health and wellness products as well. So Wellspun have stopped using papers. So they everything is online. Whatever paperwork they used to do earlier, they have stopped that, and they are doing entirely everything online. So this is all this thing they have started to create an impact on environment and to save the environment, to make it green, to make it clean. So this is something what Wellspun is promoting also, and Wellspun is doing as well. Next, I would like to show you Del Monte. Del Monte, you all know what brand is Del Monte. So Del Monte is it's a World Food Safety Day. So Del Monte have dedicated few products, and Del Monte have in their pack also they have done changes in packaging as well during this Food Safety Day. And their what they used to say, their tagline, safe food now for a healthy tomorrow. So they are focusing more on safety, and since there's a food brand, so they are focusing on food safety. So consumers are getting attracted, looking at this safety thing which Del Monte is promoting, and hence it has been seen that other than the competitions, Del Monte, the sale of Del Monte foodstuffs have increased a lot during this pandemic time. Next is this is a campaign, interesting campaign, and this is not in COVID, but this is a campaign which is done pre-COVID. So, but consumers are still getting connected, and consumers are still now connected with these two brands because of Nelson says that because of this campaign, a huge amount of shift has been seen in terms of consumers getting more into Burger King and getting more into McDonald's. Now, this is a very wonderful thing what Burger King has done. This campaign, as you all know, I think who used to go to Burger King, Whopper is one of the highest selling product of Burger King. And if you go to Burger King, Whopper is a must. You must take a Whopper. They launched a campaign where they say that one day they will not sell their highest selling product, which is a Hooper. So they named it as a day without Hooper, where they stopped selling products for a day, and they used to redirect all the customers to McDonald's and increase McDonald's sale. They used to say ki go to McDonald's and buy from McDonald's because McDonald's is giving you good offer or maybe good promotion. Now, why Burger King did this? The reason is there was a campaign which McDonald's were doing at that time. It was an annual fundraising campaign where they are donating $2 actually to children who are suffering from cancer. So this is a noble cause where McDonald's were doing the campaign, and Burger King, being its competition, Burger King supported McDonald's in terms of stopping selling a Hooper for a day. So this campaign helped global consumers to get more and more connected to both these brands. And after that, it has been seen that in 2019, due to inflation and other, there were some issues regarding, the foodstuffs, what kind of food materials were used in pizza and in burgers and all. But at that time also, it has been seen that Burger King and McDonald's have seen a highest amount of sale. So this is something which is in COVID situation also. People are still now connected with these two brands, and people are still now ordering online or maybe visiting the stores where till what time it is getting opened, and people are buying. Next is, as I mentioned, the mission statement. This is all about some examples about the mission statement. So first, I would like to show about Uber. Now, Uber's mission statement says that transportation as reliable as running water, everywhere for everyone. So this is a wonderful mission statement what Uber says. And now, what are the consumer insights behind this mission statement? Now, as a consumer, you find it very easy. Uber is a app, or Uber is a service which is which has made our life, which has made your life very easy. Now, the second is access. Access is something you can always go to one place to another. You can easily access one place to another using Uber. It's convenient. Now, why it's convenient? Because it's safe, and it will take less amount of time, and it is comfortable as well. So it is convenient for you. Next is it is safe. As I mentioned, it is safe. Tasty food. Why tasty food? Because Uber has introduced Uber Eats as well. So Uber, there are many guys who are delivering foods through Uber, and you can see that they carry a bag mentioning Uber Eats on it. And also about the service. So Uber is something which is means maybe there are some exceptions, maybe there are some price hikes, and also these exceptions will be there. But in terms of service, also you can get a good amount of service if someone is using Uber. So these are the consumer insights. What as a consumer perspective, what you think, and based on that, the company's mission statement is also absolutely relevant. The transportation as reliable as running water everywhere for everyone. So by this statement, company has tried to cover all these points which are mentioned in the consumer insights. Next is Pepsi. Now, Pepsi is also a very well-known brand to all of us, and as its mission statement says, to provide consumers around the world with delicious, affordable, convenient, and complimentary food and beverages, from wholesome breakfast to healthy and fun daytime snacks and beverages to the evening treats. So, starting from Pepsi covers the entire day for you. Starting from breakfast, it will give you evening treats. They have products in all the segments, in all these categories, starting from Quaker Oats in the breakfast. It's a healthy, fun daytime snacks like Lay's and all, and with a beverage like Pepsi, 7 Up, Tropicana Slice, and to the evening treats like Cheetos, Kurkure, like this. So it's a whole day thing. So as a consumer, now what are the insights on Pepsi as a brand? First is taste. It gives a very good taste, all the products. Next is good variants. There are many number of the product range, the product variant is very big for Pepsi. Next is thirst. If you are thirsty, Aquafina is a water which is easily available everywhere. So it quench your thirst as well. Next is young. It's a brand which is young, and I would like to mention the word swag as well. Like Pepsi has already, if you used to see ads, if you used to follow ads of the brands, you will see that brands always use this kind of thing, try to bring this kind of thing in their communication, and also, and it is a part of their brand building activity only, and they also bring this kind of things in the ads as well. Now, if you see the recent Pepsi ad with Salman Khan, they have endorsed Salman Khan right now in the ad. So he is focusing more about swag, and he is holding the glass, uh, keeping his finger in that mode, in that style, where he is focusing on the word swag. Next is healthy, definitely. Quaker Oats and other cereals, breakfast cereals. Pepsi is one of the pioneer in breakfast cereal category, and it's a and gives a very healthy competition with Kellogg's. So definitely it's healthy and available. Definitely wherever you go, you will find Pepsi products. So this is something which the consumer insights about Pepsi as a brand, and it is also relevant with the Pepsi's mission statement as a brand. Next, I would like to show about Apple. Now, Apple's mission statement is to empower creative exploration and expression. So this is something, it's a one-liner, but it's a wonderful line, to be very honest, to empower creative exploration and expression. Now, by this, what are the consumer insights on Apple as a brand? First is design. Now, see, if you are buying Apple, then definitely you will not very much, concerned about the price, because you know that Apple is priced at that end, that you shouldn't be bothered about the pricing. If you are bothered about pricing, Apple is not your brand. Then you have to go to a competitive other brands which are price sensitive and which are price competitive. Now, if you are a consumer of Apple, or if as a consumer, what you will think? First is the design, how classy it is, what kind of design, new design it has come, about the brand value, like the Apple logo behind your phone or the Apple logo behind your MacBook. So this is something which is important. It shows the brand value. Quality of the product, definitely. Quality is world class. Innovation, the software which Apple use in its inside its phone or inside its MacBook, it's a next level innovation. Classy, as I mentioned. Then the status, definitely. If you are using Apple as a consumer, definitely you are maintaining a certain status in a society. Now, if you see that a company, maybe a MD or a GM of a company, he is using a small, maybe laptop which is of Lenovo or which is of Dell or something like that. Generally, you will not see that. everyone who are in a top level, in whether it's corporate or whether it's in any other industry, they always use Apple products. So this is where this is only where the word status comes, because it not goes with their status symbol. So that is this is something where the brand plays. And since the brand also know that consumers are focused on these insights, so brand also try to create their product, try to innovate their product, and launch their new products focusing on this kind of consumer insights. So this is where it play a role, and the brand marry with the consumer insights. Next is, I would like to show you about health and wellness, that how brands are focusing on health and wellness. As you can see, I have not means all the examples not possible to show all the example, but whatever examples I have recent and best examples I have tried to show you. One is Del Monte. Del Monte is focusing on boost your immunity. The tagline of the fruit juice, the tagline of their canned juice, they are using like that, that boost your immunity with every sip. Now, this tagline, this helps you or helps the consumers to understand that uh, this product is focusing on health and wellness, and it is not necessary that if you drink a mixed fruit juice of Del Monte, your immunity will increase. Now, it's a foolish thing. Now, but as a consumer, if you see this tagline that boost your immunity with every sip, because they are focusing on vitamins. Definitely in fruit juices, vitamin content is there, and a vitamin is something which helps you to boost your immunity. So they are focusing on the word immunity. They try to create impact on consumers' mind, on consumers' buying pattern using this word. So this is why how Del Monte has placed their juice or their beverages on consumers' mind. Next is Nutrilla. We all know Nutrilla as a brand. It's mainly a Swabin brand, Nutrilla. Now they have introduced atta, and now they have given the name of high protein chakki atta. Now in this atta, it's not like I'm not telling that this atta do not contain any protein. Definitely there must be some protein content in this atta, but the way they are mentioning the thing on the product, and also the tagline powered with 30% more Dhakar protein. So this is something which is creating an impact on consumers' minds. It's not about making. It's not about that brands are making fool out of the consumers. Not it's not like that. But brands are focusing on the health and wellness, and hence previously also maybe there were protein content in some products or maybe in the atta, but right now Nutrilla has seen that, because Nutrilla were there were no atta under the umbrella of Nutrilla, but since Nutrilla have seen that the staple sale has increased a lot, and staple is such a segment where they can increase, they can innovate, and they can get more and more consumers under their umbrella. So they have launched that, and they have launched it with a protein content in it. That is the best part. Now, last month also Parle, I have not added that. Last month Parle has introduced atta as well. So we know Parle is a biscuit pioneer basically. When I was in Parle, it was all about selling biscuits, all the variants of biscuits, and how to increase the sale of biscuits. So it was all about biscuits. But right now, last month only, very recently, they have introduced atta, and that also bulk pack. It's a 5 kilo, 10 kilo, 15 kilo pack. Parle G atta. They have given the name Parle G Mahashakti atta. It is like that. Next is, if you see Ensure, if you see the Ensure ad also about is promoting on the immunity nutrients, and it is showing that 11 immunity nutrients for Ensure. So Imami Healthy and Tasty. It's a oil. So they have introduced a smart balance cooking oil. They name their product as smart balance cooking oil. But the best part is they are using the word immunity booster on the pack of the oil. Ab har niwala immunity wala. This is the tagline they are using. So in the tagline also, companies are using the magic word of immunity and the magic word of nutrients and also vitamins. So this is something consumers are getting more and more, uh, you know, pull towards the brand, and consumers are their buying pattern is also getting changed, and consumers are focusing more on this kind of brands right now at this point of time, because healthy and tasty is a very old brand. If you know, Imami Healthy and Tasty is a very old brand of oil, but this smart balance cooking oil, this immunity booster cooking oil, this is something which is new, and this is a gift of COVID, you can say. Next, what I want to show you is Jivo Wellness. Jivo Wellness is a brand which is focused on wellness products only, but uh, this is something which is very new. What they have introduced in the month of May, 2 months back actually, they have introduced a natural oxygen booster. This is something which you will not find for many brands. They call it as a superfood for lungs. So as you know that in COVID, lungs are getting affected the most, and many people, we have lost many people because of the worst situation of the lungs. So they have introduced this, and they are telling it's a superfood for lungs. So people are already in first 7 days, I think, when the product got launched, in first 7 days there was a stock out situation in all the medical stores and in all the pharma stores. So it's like it's a huge demand of this product, and consumers are reacting also accordingly based on this innovations and based on these brand campaigns, as you can say. Now, this is some data which I just managed to take and show you. So it's like as an income group, the low income and mid income group have suffered the most in terms of the pandemic. The high income group, they have not suffered that much. By high income, I mean people who are having salary above 1 lakh rupees, or maybe who are earning, not also through salary, maybe who are earning above 1 lakh rupees. So investments have gone low during this COVID. Before COVID, the investment, people used to do a lot of more investment. Savings are definitely have gone high because people are saving whatever way they can save. Monthly household expenses have gone high because the monthly household expenses, since people are buying large packs, the price increase and everything, so the monthly household expenses have gone high, and the loan and this credit card payments, these are all, this is the, we are seeing a degrowth, we are seeing a less amount of thing during COVID. It can be like after COVID, people will start repaying, and then this graph can take the other direction as well. So this is something which I have just tried to show the allocation of monthly income before COVID and during COVID. It's like that. So now this is the end part of my presentation. So if I do a summary, I can say this 5 points basically. Consumers have intended to buy more of personal hygiene and safety products. This is number one. Then consumers have increased spends on healthy and organic food, and definitely if you see niche products, if you see premium products, the sale has gone critically low, and because of that, comes the third point: the sale of mass products have increased a lot, and the sale of bulk packs have increased a lot, and companies are introducing more and more bulk packs as well. Next, modern trade and e-commerce channels are getting a growth because of change in buying patterns of consumers of FMCG brands during COVID. So these two channels are growing very good. And from modern trade also, e-commerce is growing in leaps and bounds basically. As per Statista, as I mentioned, India had around 224 million digital buyers exit 2018, and it will go to 350 million. So it is increasing so high. It is increasing at a highest rising rate. So it will go to 350 million. So modern trade along with e-commerce, they are contributing mainly. They are driving the growth mainly for FMCG industry, and all that is the reason we are expecting a double-digit growth. As I mentioned in when I started the presentation, we are expecting a double-digit growth by end of this quarter, and by end of this year, definitely we will end with a double-digit growth. That's for sure. It will be majorly driven by modern trade and e-commerce. So that's all from my part. Thank you so much for all your time and listening to it. And if you have any questions, I would definitely tell you to ask.
Students, please, if you have any question, please ask sir. So Sushovan sir, thank you so much for conducting the session on consumer behavior in FMCG industry in COVID-19 era for the MBA students. We want some more sessions like this in future with you.
Definitely.
We would like to present a certificate to you from our MBA department. So I am sharing the certificate in the screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, sir, we would be sharing the soft copy of the certificate by email to you by evening.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Arpajit. Thank you, all the students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I would like to request Kishore sir to stop the meeting. To stop the recording and end the meeting.